As the 2010 PBA Fiesta Conference rolls on, we put the spotlight now on two teams that are reeling from their recent losses. Tonight here at the Cuneta Astrodome, the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS and the Santa Lucia Realtors have an opportunity to put that behind them. Hopefully get a win streak going ahead of some big assignments this Sunday. Basketball addicts of the Philippines, hello and welcome to the PBA on Solar TV. Along with the Dean Quinito Henson, I'm Vito Lazatine. Let's head straight to the lesson for today, Quinito. Let's head straight to your Dean's list. What do these two teams have to do to pull off a win today?
Well, let's talk about Derby Ace. You know that they're coming off that heartbreaking loss to Alaska in overtime. And for Derby Ace, I think it's important that they get back to basics. Why? Because in the last 3 games, 2 of which BMEG lost, they gave up an average of 101 points a game. They win with defense, but you don't win by giving up so many points. They're giving up an average of only 83 points the whole conference. They need to cover the passing lanes. No unnecessary risks, and they need to challenge the interior.
Time to check the pointers now on the other end. What about the Santa Lucia Realtors?
Well, for the Realtors, they need to work in chemistry. Vito, you know that since they made that big roster change, they brought in 6 new players. They have not lost, or they have not won a single game. They've lost 3 in a row, but they can't do it by AJ alone. Anthony Johnson needs firepower support. And also the front line has to re-emerge. Marlo Aquino is going to be starting. He did not play last time out. But what about Gabby Espinas and Nick Velasco scoring only 2 points apiece in their last game? And of course, they can't rush. No rush, no harm. That should be the policy. This is not a fast-breaking team. They need to slow things down.
Well, you mentioned Marlo Aquino starting for the Santa Lucia Realtors. Main reason for that, Ali Peak will not be able to play today, and we'll get more details on that from Patricia Hizon a little later on, as we are now just moments away from our tip-off for the second game for this PBA Wednesday. There you have Coach Ryan Gregorio of the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS looking to bounce back, as you mentioned, from that 2-point overtime loss against Alaska. But if there was one good thing to come out of that, it was definitely the coming out of Cliff Brown. What a great individual performance for the LLAMADOS import.
Oh, absolutely. Conference high 34 points for Cliff Brown. Had 16 points in the 3rd quarter. But of course, BMEG still lost that game by 2 in overtime.
And look at this, Cliff Brown trying to continue that performance from last time around against Alaska. Failed on that layup. They'll get a second chance at it. Short floater from Pingris is no good, and looks like it's BMEG Derby Ace last touch. Cliff Brown playing his 8th game now with the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS after averaging about 20 points per game, blowing up for 34.
Vito, what about this backcourt of Santa Lucia, Escobar and Custodio?
Oh, yes.
And they played each over 30 minutes in that last game of Santa Lucia, losing to San Miguel. Escobar with 14 points in that one, and Custodio with 10.
And Marlo Aquino is going to be called for that foul. And I have to tell you, Quinito, I mean, still, every time I look at Santa Lucia nowadays, probably the last 3 games, I'm still trying to get used to all of the new faces wearing Realtors uniform.
Well, that's the reason why we're saying that it's a team that is a work in progress. They're looking at chemistry. They need to be able to get a lot of gelling. And AJ has been a constant for them. And that's a big, big plus for the Realtors, because their import has delivered game after game. It's really the local support that really has to get together to give him the kind of firepower that he needs. So there's not as much pressure on his shoulders.
Anthony Johnson, arguably the best import of the conference, but now Cliff Brown of the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS looking to put the first points on the board, and he will miss after his first free throw. Let's take a look at those numbers from that last game for Cliff Brown.
Oh, unbelievable numbers. Take a look at what he did in terms of points. 10 out of 22 from the field. Also had his fair share of rebounds and assists, but missing 2 free throws. But look at this. A small man picking up the offensive rebound off the second missed free throw.
Well, Coach Boyd Fernandez can't be happy about that.
And Cliff Brown, so aggressive.
Yes. Well, you see Cliff Brown being very active in the paint, and you can expect him to really be at home there. He's not an outside threat, not at all. He's really only taken 1 attempt from beyond the arc, so that's obviously not a part of his arsenal, or maybe a part of his arsenal that we haven't seen quite yet.
That we probably will never see. But you notice, so far in this game, BMEG has had, what, 3 or 4 possessions?
Sure.
In every possession, Cliff Brown has touched the ball. and he's moved inside to challenge the interior defense of Marlo Aquino.
Cliff Brown, who came in to the LLAMADOS squad, replacing Lorenzo Wade, who played their first 5 games of the conference. Now the LLAMADOS coming up with this early lead. Still a lot of time left in the first quarter, 10 minutes and 42 remaining. They go to Anthony Johnson, clearing the way for Johnson. Johnson nowhere to go, now Escobar. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Escobar in the paint, he loses the leather.
Well, what made that turnover possible was the defense of Mark Pingris on the import. And look at this layup here by Paul Artadi.
And it actually looked like that ball slipped off his fingers as he went for that layup. So I think he got a lucky break there. So it's an early 4-point lead.
You know, I have a feeling that when Paul Artadi sleeps at night, he's dreaming of Tony Parker.
Johnson for 3. That rattles out. Rebound chase down. And Paul Artadi trying to pick Gabi Espinas' pocket. He will be called for the foul.
Dito, I just want to explain myself earlier when I said that Mark Pingris' defense on Anthony Johnson created that turnover in the previous play. I think it's because of the way he plays Johnson, physical and face-to-face. Johnson forced to pass rather than shoot, and then the ball stays with him so long that it disrupts the rhythm of Santa Lucia's offense.
Marlo from the high post, and it's another takeaway for the LLAMADOS. Artadi crisscrossing through the D, throws it up, he gets the basket.
Well, Kid Lightning getting it done. Santa Lucia, we mentioned in our Dean's List, Vito, that this is a team that doesn't like to rush. They are last in fast break points.
Yes, they are.
I think BMEG is conscious of that. You know, if you're playing against a team that doesn't like to run, what do? You run. You go against their rhythm.
Bonbon Custodio jumper is no good, and now the LLAMADOS with a chance to pile on the points. Down low to Brown. Brown strokes it for 2. That's off, but there's Pingris with the offensive board. Put back is good. And the Santa Lucia Realtors have been caught flat-footed at the opening of our first quarter with no points against the LLAMADOS' 8. We'll be right back.
Doesn't get any better than this.
Welcome back to Looking at the Astrodome. Patricia Bermudez, he's on here with some good news and some bad news for the Santa Lucia Realtors. Good news is that based on their last performance, Coach Boyet says that he can see that this team is now playing as a unit defensively and that the new players have well adjusted. Bad news though, Anthony Johnson is still playing with a sprained left ankle, and so is Josh Obistondo, who has missed the last week of practice because also of a sprained left ankle. Now, he is going to try to play and will be on meds this entire time. Now, as you've mentioned, Ali Peak is also at home nursing a high fever. Now, he was supposed to play a crucial role against a tall Derby Ace team, but now they'll have to rely on Marlo Aquino and the rest of them. Vito?
Thank you, Patricia, for that report. And you know, with Orbistondo out, that's opened opportunities for guys like Pong Escobar and Bonbon Custodio. And Escobar came up with 14 points in the last one, Custodio with 10. Anthony Johnson in the paint, heavy traffic, but he's used to it.
Well, Patricia's report about Orbistondo clarifies the situation. Orbistondo only had 6 minutes of play last time out for Santa Lucia. And since he hasn't really been practicing, take a look at this foul on Anthony Johnson, driving strong to the hole. You know that Escobar and Custodio really have to soak up their minutes here.
And Johnson can't finish a 3-point play. Still a 6-point lead for the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS. There you see Josh Obistondo watching from the sidelines. Remains to be seen if he'll be needed today. Now Artadi, all day for that long one.
I think he will be needed. I mean, someone's got to stop Artadi. Right now, this point guard already has 7 points.
That's right.
Escobar obviously not respecting his offense from the outside and not able to keep up with him if he drives strong to the hole.
8 seconds on the Santa Lucia shot clock. Anthony Johnson. It's tapped out of bounds, and looks like Santa Lucia last touch.
Well, that defense was there again. Mark Pingris making life so miserable and difficult for AJ.
So 8 minutes and 9 remaining in the first. The LLAMADOS threatening to open up the first double-digit lead of the ball game, and there he does it. James Yap finishing down low.
You call that execution. You notice in that play, BMEG did not have a single low post player. They wanted to open up the lane, realizing that James Yap is going to drive down the baseline. Obviously, he's got a major advantage in a mismatch against Bonbon Custodio.
Here's another look at Paul Artadi making the play possible for James Yap. And on the other end, Paul Artadi took the hit, and that's going to be a turnover against Santa Lucia. Anthony Johnson called with the offensive foul. So some fresh legs in now for the Realtors. Ogie Menor now in, Nick Velasco in as well. James Yap taking that opportunity for the jumper. Another offensive board for the LLAMADOS. Oh, Artadi. Got another good look from three. Now the Realtors get it back. And it's taken away. Artadi going all the way. And it's going to be hard to beat a guy like Artadi in a foot race.
And you know, this is what I mean. No rush, no harm. That time, Santa Lucia trying to speed up things. They committed the mistake. They gave away the possession. And turnover point scored once more by BMEG.
Escobar.
He will score.
Much needed basket for the Realtors, cutting the lead to 11. Now Aquino covering Brown. Brown, fall away jumper is good.
Boy, he's feeling it. Now, Menor came in for defensive purposes. He's now taking on James Yap in that matchup. Coach Boy Fernandez realizing that Bonbon Custodio is not going to be able to shadow James Yap in that matchup.
LLAMADOS back on offense.
Take a look at the turnover story here. Santa Lucia already with 6 turnovers, BMEG none. Talk about taking no unnecessary risks. That's a big check mark for BMEG.
Velasco down low. Oh, that's an easy backdoor play for Aquino.
Are you seeing signs of complacency here in the part of BMEG? They seem to be taking it easy. Getting off to a hot start here. They're leaving that door wide open for easy shots inside.
Fingers to James Yap. Yap smothered by Menor's defense. And James Yap putting an end to that fast break, giving up the foul. And we've got Patricia Hizo now standing by with this report.
There are two aspects of Derby A's that they want to focus on tonight. That is one, better free throw shooting accuracy, and two, better execution to limit their turnovers. Now, Coach pointed out that they've been normally losing by 3.7 points on average, or merely by 2 possessions, and they could lessen their 21 turnovers to just 18. And they will stand a stronger chance of winning each game. Now, Coach just wants everything simplified from here on now. He says basketball is not supposed to be complicated. Vito?
Thank you, Patricia. Really, only other team that's shooting worse from the free throw line is Barajo. Barajo Energy Coffee, that is.
You know, just a footnote on that report by Patricia. Santa Lucia is the #1 team in terms of forcing turnovers. They're forcing 19.9 turnovers on the average as far as their opponents are concerned. While, as Patricia said, BMEG is #1 in turnovers, 21.1. So that's an interesting contrast.
Play stopped here. This possession will stay for the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS. Nick Velasco picks up his first personal. So Roger Yap on the floor along with Don Aliado. Don Aliado also had a very productive game last time around. He had 11 points in 27 minutes. But they go to Cliff Brown now. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Jumper. That goes out of bounds.
Now, Coach Boy Fernandez looking at matching up with different faces here. So you see Menor now against James Yap, and you have Nick Velasco now against Cliff Brown.
And we'd like to acknowledge the support of Hanes, the official underwear of the PBA. Less than 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Realtors trying to set up here. Dennis Da out to Anthony Johnson. Johnson still the first option on offense here, and he delivers. So the lead is back down to single digits. Cliff Brown looking to change that story, working on Da at the low post. Oh, and Anthony Johnson really trying to slam the door on Cliff Brown.
And here's another defender. Coach Boy Fernandez is placed on Cliff Brown. There's Dennis Daa.
That's his first foul, 4 on the Realtors.
A little bit too late on the double team that time. Now, if you're going to apply pressure double team, you need to make sure that the man you're doubling is not going to be airborne and already about to take the shot. So that double team is supposed to make the offensive player think twice about going up for the shot. So you don't do that when he's already airborne. It's too late.
And the LLAMADOS just keep on getting bigger as Rafi Rivas now steps in. Cliff Brown, big force not just in scoring but also in rebounding, averaging 14 rebounds per game. And that free throw shot brought to you by BMEG Derby Ace Premium Formula. Dito ka na sa Llamado.
You know, when we were covering the BMEG versus Alaska game, we mentioned that Cliff Brown is the only Cliff we know who only has one F in his name. And then Seth Sarmenta was covering that game with me. What about Diamond Simpson? He's the only Diamond we know without a T.
That's true. Third opportunity for the Realtors, and Anthony Johnson trying to slam it home.
Nice dish coming from Escobar. You know, there's a huge responsibility on the shoulders of this young point guard from San Beda, Escobar. He hardly got any playing time when he was playing for Talking Tex. Now he's supposed to take a major role quarterbacking the Santa Lucia team.
Oh, imagine from 16 minutes per game now to an average of 24.
Unbelievable.
Since joining the Realtors.
And last time out, he had 33 minutes. But that was an excellent dish. I mean, he drew and then he dished. He penetrated the offense, or rather the defense. And that's a mark of a true point guard. Someone who's able to create for his teammates and make sure that the ball is in the hands of someone who has a good shot attempt. And that exactly was what he did.
Johnson delivers on both free throws. And we're looking at another 9-point ball game, less than 4 minutes to go in the first. Brown over to Roger Yap.
Almost like a full court press here by Santa Lucia. Meeting the BMEG players all the way in the backcourt. So delaying the execution and the advance of that ball.
Stop and pop for Roger Yap is no good. Now Escobar. Looking for a cutter inside off the screen. It's off to Daa. And it's going to be a kick ball. So still Realtor ball here. And nice dish inside to Escobar. There's the kick out. Big Velasco just short with that jumper. On the other end, Pingris sees the opening. There's the handoff to Rivas, and James Yap got a good look from the outside there. And you can really see that the Realtors are trying to get something started here. Augie Minor will be rewarded with a trip to the line as KG Canaleta now in, oh no, it was not in the act of shooting, so it's going to be a baseline throw in for Santa Lucia. But as I was saying, KG Canaleta now on the floor for the LLAMADOS. Pesky D provided by Mark Pingris.
Well, he's a designated import stopper of BMEG.
Dennis Daa out to Escobar. Anthony Johnson loses it.
Again, that defensive Pingris making that happen.
And Rivas is called for the offensive foul. That's going to be foul number 2 on Rivas. And we've got another timeout. 2 minutes and 46 remaining. BMEG Derby Ace ahead by 9.
Doesn't get any better than this.
And the last one.
And here's your opportunity to win tickets to the next PBA game. Just join the Solar PBA Text for Tickets promo. Just text Solar space PBA space the mystery keyword for today, and that is Glory. Send it to 2600 for your chance to win tickets to the next PBA game.
Talk about glory. Is it going to be Celtics glory or Lakers glory?
That's right. Great week for sports, really. That's coming up this Friday. Game number 1 of the NBA Finals, live on Solar TV.
Hey, it's on cue.
There you go. That's going to be live at 9 a.m.
Lakers with a home court advantage, so they host games 1 and 2. And then Boston will get to host 3 and 4, if necessary 5. And if necessary 6 and 7 will be back at the Staples Center. Last time both these teams met in 2008, Boston had the home court advantage and the Celtics won 4-2. You know, the interesting contrast about that series, if I might say, right now in the playoffs, the Lakers are 8-0 at home, undefeated. But Boston has won 5 of their 8 road games.
They do know how to win them on the road. While here back at the Cuneta Astrodome, Santa Lucia Realtors, their points have been coming in spurts.
And those are open looks for Santa Lucia.
Yes, they are. And
those shots were not challenged.
They've been trying to run a lot of their offense through Anthony Johnson. Now Cliff Brown stuck on the outside. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Down low. Roger Yap, low post play. Working against Don Belbelano.
Well, Santa Lucia likes to run, or rather, BMEG likes to run that play for Roger Yap to post up his defender. This is a huge lineup that BMEG has on the floor, except for Roger Yap. And KG Canaleta is playing the 2-guard position.
Canaleta almost losing it. Now, the Realtors finally take it away. 2-on-1. Oh, and the denial by Pingris. Now Cliff Brown takes the jumper. No. Menor with a rebound. 1 minute and 37 to go in the first, and it's another steal. Cliff Brown looking for a shooter. Roger Yap goes back to Brown. And he seems to be liking that spot over there, but there's KG Canaleta.
Cliff Brown is taking a lot of shots. But in this game so far, he's already taken 7 attempts.
Well, somebody gave him the green light to take those jumpers.
You're so right. He's so aggressive. But you know, he's taking it from medium range, and he hasn't got that range yet. Here's a shot falling in.
Da getting the shooter's bounce. Brown looking for a backdoor play. Now Rivas. Canaleta gets open. Rebound by Da. Time enough for maybe 2 possessions here. Johnson working the low post, and that's going to be another turnover against the Realtors. And Roger Yap making short work of Belano. And we've got about a 2-second differential here between the game clock and the shot clock. There's the cut by Anthony Johnson. Johnson. And he gets hammered down low.
That shot was taken with 7.1 seconds to go in this quarter. And you take a look at this change of dribble.
And Roger Yap just kept Don Belbelano out of his way.
And that was off another turnover. You know, big discrepancy here, Vito, in turnover points. BMEG already with 12 turnover points, and Santa Lucia with 0.
12 turnover points, that's almost half of the production from the LLAMADOS. Johnson, 8, is now responsible for 8 of the 14 points of the Santa Lucia Realtors. And there's Rico Meyerhofer with a nice trail job. And so at the end of the first quarter, the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS have taken control of this ball game, getting ahead by 11, 25-14. Second quarter of action is up next.
Any better than this?
ito. Tapos back-to-back natin sa
And we
Lucia.
are back here at the Cuneta Astrodome. Second quarter just about to get underway, and we want to tell you about what's coming up this Saturday. The PBA is once again back on tour, featuring the Talk and Text Tropa Texters taking on Barangay Ginebra. That's going to be in Batangas City. And a great-looking crowd here at the Cuneta Astrodome. They were treated to a game earlier.
I think that's Mrs. Mark Pingris. Danica, if I'm not mistaken. And she seems to be enjoying. Oh, we see Alton Lister in the crowd taking notes. He is the San Miguel coaching consultant.
And he's not the only one from San Miguel who's here. And the San Miguel Beermen have every reason to be here doing their homework, because they are set. But they're going to be set to take on, if I'm not mistaken, yes, they're going to be set to take on the BMEG Derby LLAMADOS this Sunday. And our second quarter is now officially underway. Roger Yap walking the tightrope there. Nice fake by Canaleta. Jumper, no good. And look at Anthony Johnson. Sky for that rebound.
And more big men on the floor here for BMEG. Romela Ducol. And Meyerhofer checked in just as the first quarter was ending, and he got an offensive rebound and 2 points in a putback at the buzzer. You know, with so many big men on the floor for BMEG, you wonder why they're taking so many medium-range shots.
Yes.
Or maybe because they feel that with their size, they can get offensive rebounds. But I think they should really move the ball a lot closer.
Hook shot by Nick Velasco. That brings the Realtors to within 9.
Talk about challenging the interior for inside points. That's a big check mark for BMEG, already with 16 inside points. Santa Lucia with 10.
Rivas in no man's land. They're running out of time, and it's a turnover. There's the go-ahead pass for Daa. Can he finish? A little too deep for Daa there, but this time the jumper by Belano that just rolls out.
Again, the control of the boards by BMEG.
Cross-court pass, Roger Yap locks and loads, no. But Meyerhofer with the offensive rebound. He takes the jumper.
And that's what I mean, the offensive rebounding of BMEG because of their size. Roger Yap taking a gamble in a low percentage outside shot, realizing that they'll probably get the rebound anyway.
And double teams waiting for Anthony Johnson at every corner. And it changed the guards here. Mong Escobar coming back in for the Santa Lucia Realtors. And earlier, Kenito, in the top of the coverage, we talked about all the changes and that have happened for the Santa Lucia Realtors. Of course, they feeling the loss of their 2 stars in Kelly Williams and Ryan Reyes. Do you think that the Realtors have fallen under the spell of maybe relying a little bit too much on their import?
Well, I think so, especially now. They need to get a lot more production from the local unit. I think also they might have over-relied on Kelly Williams and Ryan Reyes in the past, and that's why they're having a difficult time adjusting. But you know, the honeymoon period is over. Forget about Kelly Williams, forget about Ryan Reyes, forget about Paulo Mendoza, and forget about Charles Waters. Those 4 guys from Santa Lucia have all gone. And, you know, talking about Santa Lucia, they can't live by AJ alone. And so far, Johnson with 8 points, the locals with 8 points, that's not enough. They're over-relying on AJ to get the points. The locals have to contribute a lot more than just the local, just the import. And talk about the honeymoon period of Santa Lucia. Well, since the arrival of 6 new players, Menor Escobar, Al Jamal, Ali Pic Velasco, and Chris Ross, they have gone 0 out of 3.
Johnson losing the possession there as Roger Yap. Oh, and officials saw that. Roger Yap sticking out that arm. So he's going to be called for the offensive foul. Let's take a look at this here. Oh, there it is. Pushing off of Mong Escobar, so that's a good call.
Anthony Johnson taking a seat.
So Yusuf Al-Jamal is now on the floor for the first time for the Santa Lucia Realtors, and this should be a real test now for the Santa Lucia locals. There's the cut. Al-Jamal can't finish. Denied by Canaleta. Meyerhofer, Canaleta in the corner, strokes it for three. That's short.
And another offensive rebound here for BMEG. But it's a small guy who got it.
Yeah,
Paul Artadi.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's Artadi's third rebound. Yes, it is. It's his third rebound. Oh, that's going to be an offensive foul against Cliff Brown. Brown dipping that shoulder. And we've got Patricia Hezon standing by with this report.
You guys were talking about Cliff Brown's coming out party, and it was spoiled with that overtime loss to Alaska. Now, Cliff says, though, that that loss didn't take away from their confidence. They are doing things to be better. Now, Coach Ryan shared with me earlier that he had a heart-to-heart with Brown and told him that it's not the number of points he makes, but it's the shots he's supposed to make when they need it that matters. So that's probably why Brown's been working on his free throws. It's all about the number of wins he can bring to the team, says Coach Ryan, and Cliff says he's ready for that challenge. Vito?
Thank you, Patricia. And Cliff Brown, 69% shooter from the free throw line here in this Fiesta Conference. And he's already seen more than just a couple of trips to the line already here in this first half. 8 minutes and 50 remaining in the second quarter. Escobar getting hounded here by Brown. Oh, and we got bodies on the floor flying everywhere.
All players, please proceed to the shaded area in front of your respective benches.
And the officials may be seeing more than just a regular foul here. Artadi doesn't appreciate that.
Now the referees are going to consult the TV monitor to determine whether that was a flagrant 1 or 2, or if it was just a regular foul. Let's see what happened.
This is Artadi going for the steal.
Well, good denial on the part of Artadi, making sure that Velasco would not be able to get the pass. He's a pesky defender. There's a push-off. I don't know if that was a flagrant.
Yep.
I thought it was just a regular foul. He just pushed off. I don't think there was any intent to harm. And I don't think there was much damage inflicted either. But let's see what the referees call it.
Flagrant foul penalty 1.
They'll call the flagrant 1. I'm surprised.
All right, so Velasco will have to watch on the sidelines for at least 3 minutes.
That's right, and they give 2 free throws here for BMEG plus possession.
That's the part that hurts.
No.
And Coach Boyd hasn't made a move just yet on who is going to have come in to replace Nick Velasco.
Well, I thought that Paul Artadi also sold that call very well. So good marketing job here by Paul Artadi.
So Jason Misolas is now coming in for the Santa Lucia Realtors.
2 shots for Paul Artadi.
Misolas played 18 minutes in their last game. Oh no, I stand corrected. Actually, Misolas didn't play a single minute in that last game against San Miguel.
That's right, he and Marlo Aquino sat out that contest. Let's see what happened here once more. That was like a slap, like a slap in the face. And I guess that's the reason why they called the flagrant. But here's 2 missed free throws here by Artadi. So I correct that. Looking at that replay again, I guess there might have been cause for a flagrant 1. Because parang tampal na yun sa mukha eh. I thought earlier that he might have just brushed him off with a hand.
James Yap. And James Yap, that's 5 points for him. And it looks like there could be a defensive foul here.
Now that's a danger signal for Santa Lucia. BMEG controlling the boards. They're getting inside points. And if you start scoring from the outside, boy, it's going to be a nightmare of a game here for Santa Lucia.
And no surprise, Anthony Johnson is back into this ball game. Anthony Johnson doesn't really get to see the bench a lot. This is a guy who averages 45 minutes per game.
Look at this new defender now on Anthony Johnson, Enrico Meyerhofer, using his wingspan to force him to pass, and they did a good job of that. That's what they want. They want Anthony Johnson not to take the shot, but to pass.
Cliff Brown with a rebound. James Yap looking for back-to-back baskets.
You know, he's so confident in taking that outside shot, knowing that Enrico Meyerhofer, Cliff Brown are there for the possible miss.
On the other end, Da'a takes the long one. That's short. Rebound by Meyerhofer. Already a 17-point lead for the LLAMADOS, and they're looking to add to that. Here's Artadi in the paint. 3 defenders on the LLAMADOS point guard. A little bit of touch passing here. Anthony Johnson looking to finish. And Meyerhofer will be charged with the foul. That'll be his second.
For Santa Lucia, good job capitalizing on that error of Paul Artadi. I mean, it just didn't make any sense for that small man to go inside and force it against the Giants. And that mistake gave an opportunity for Santa Lucia to try to score in transition.
Here's another look. This was an alley-oop play meant for Anthony Johnson, but Meyerhofer in the way.
You notice that's 2 missed slam dunk attempts now by Anthony Johnson, and BMEG opting to foul him and make him earn his points on the line rather than give up the easy 2 points on the dunk.
Well, the mission is clear. They're not giving him anything easy tonight. When speaking of easy, well, James Yap missing on that, but you just watch the way he takes jumpers. It's just so smooth and it makes it look so easy. Now approaching the 7-minute mark, Anthony Johnson having trouble keeping the possession there, and it's taken away again by the LLAMADOS, but another steal on the other end. And now Anthony Johnson heading straight for it.
And he scores. Oh.
No, it's going to be an offensive foul.
Offensive foul. He scored, but the basket was nullified. Boy, what defense BMEG is playing in this game. I think it's a harrowing experience here for Santa Lucia.
Oh, yes. Well,
you watch this here. Okay, there's the offensive foul. You see a Dukol. I don't know about, you know, looking at that again, looked like a Dukol did not establish defensive position. He moved. So could have been a blocking foul there against a Dukol. Anyway, here's a flop. That's going to be called by the refs.
Yep, it's going to be a warning against Al Jamal.
Warning on Yusimo Jamal for smoking.
You watch it here again. Here's Al Jamal. Oh, there was absolutely no push.
Oh, yes.
But you know, the penalty there is you leave your offensive player wide open for a shot. So, sayang, you rob the offensive team of an opportunity by calling the flop. And that's not supposed to be.
Way too much time for Paul Artadi to take a look and make that 3. And now we're looking at another 18-point lead. Or yes, this is by far the biggest lead of the ball game for the LLAMADOS.
Vito, can you believe Kid Lightning? He missed 2 free throws earlier on the technical, on the flagrant one, and then he makes a 3-point shot, which, by the way, is his second for the game.
And Coach Boyd Fernandez not happy at all with the call.
And here's a technical foul. They're going to charge Boyd Fernandez. Is that a technical?
Well, Coach Boyd Fernandez will probably have to get back to the bench, or somebody's going to have to reel him in before the calls get worse. Oh, there it is, a technical.
And I think it's over for him. If it's 2 technicals against Boyd Fernandez, what's happening? What's happening? Is it 1 or 2? If it's 2, he's gone.
Technical foul on Coach Boyd Fernandez for the center to call.
All right, so that's going to be the first technical.
Okay, just one.
Technical foul on assistant coach Cholo Martin for using the fake damage.
So
Cholo Martin also called for the technical. There's assistant coach Cholo Martin.
yeah, so that's 2 technical fouls already on the coaching staff here of the Santa Lucia Realtors.
Technical free throw by Jason.
So more free points coming in now for the BMEG LLAMADOS, and they are now threatening to open up a 20-point lead here in the second quarter.
And you know, you have to like James Yap's yellow shoes. I think he's the only player in the PBA wearing yellow shoes. And that's not a political statement, although some people might say it is. But he's also wearing a yellow armband.
And it looks like Marlo Aquino, who started this ball game, is about to come back in. But this was the call earlier. And this is the call that Coach Boy Fernandez did not like, because they were called with a defensive, with an offensive foul rather.
Now that, I think, was a good call. That was very clear. When you have a big man like Al-Jamal pushing off a small player like Artadi, you're gonna get called. Tama yung tawag na yun.
As we approach now the 6-minute mark of the second quarter, BMEG LLAMADOS still very much in the driver's seat. James Yap can't get an open look, and it's a takeaway. 3-on-1, Anthony Johnson, he's going all the way.
Oh, yes.
He needed to make a statement there. And we've got a timeout on our hands here. Santa Lucia Realtors still trying to catch up. They're down by 28, by 18.
Any better than this?
And we are back at a tension-filled Cuneta Astrodome. But before we get into that, how about this? Here's a look at our Yakult slam dunk, Anthony Johnson, who started more than a couple of these before.
Oh, what an elevation by AJ. His head almost touching the rim. Oh, not quite, not quite.
Definitely not a slam dunk to celebrate just yet, because the Santa Lucia Realtors have a lot of work to do here in the second quarter. They're down by 18, 38-20. 2 technical fouls already on the coaching staff of the Realtors.
Santa Lucia must have that warrior mentality. And that's important. When you're down by 18, you're only in the second quarter. We've seen teams come back from 31 points.
Oh, sure, yes.
And make it a close game down the stretch.
And we'd like to acknowledge the support of Hanes, the official underwear of the PBA. Artadi. There's Aliado flashing out. Down low to Brown. Oh, Brown's got a lot of enemies down there. On the other end, Anthony Johnson spins. That's an offensive foul.
And AJ is frustrated by that defense of BMEG, and Rico Meyer-Hoffer getting it done. Cliff Brown's a little bit out of sync here. You take a look at this move.
So get a load of this. This offensive foul is actually the 3rd offensive foul that's been called on Anthony Johnson.
Cliff Brown for Rico Meyer-Hoffer. Robert Malone for Anthony Johnson.
So a couple of adjustments here on both ends. Nelbert Omolon, who's been playing pretty sparingly for the Santa Lucia Realtors. Last time around, only 8 minutes. But he's back on the floor. Mark Pingris is also back for the LLAMADOS. Aliado spots for the jumper. And the lead is back up to 20.
You know, he continues to sizzle it. You mentioned earlier that he had 11 points in BMEG's last game against Alaska.
Misola's jumper misses everything, but the offensive rebound by Omolon. Nice fake there by Marlo Aquino. And that's 4 points for the skyscraper. James Yap passes out to Roger Yap. Overcooked that jumper just a little bit. And now Al Jamal going end-to-end, but another rejection. Saved by Omolon. That's the second time he's hustled for that loose ball. And it looks like James Yap is going to be called for the foul.
Number 18, James Yap, penalty.
So with the LLAMADOS in the penalty, free throws coming up here for the big man, Marlo Aquino.
Well, earlier we saw another block shot by BMEG, already in the game with 5 swats against none for Santa Lucia, despite the presence of Marlo Aquino. Skyscraper hasn't picked up a single block shot yet.
Marlo Aquino averaging 5 points, 2 rebounds per game here in this 2010 Fiesta Conference. He's got 6 now in the game. Pingris trapped by the double team, manages to get free, saves that one for Brown, but Omolon with a steal. Oh, and Omolon has lost the possession.
Well, he lost control of his dribble. None of his teammates came up to recover the loose ball. He had to pick it up, and that's why he was called for the double dribble.
And the LLAMADOS offensive machine still looking very good here. Out to Roger Yap, 6 seconds on the shot clock. Very difficult jumper for Roger Yap, but there's Clip Brown. So offensive foul called against Clip Brown. It's his second.
You know, sometimes I can't understand, you know, the offensive fouls that are being called against the imports. I think there's a lot of flopping that's being tolerated here and being called an offensive foul instead. That's the second offensive foul against Brown.
We mentioned Anthony Johnson already called with 3. Escobar going for the long one, that's short. Nice hustle play by Misolas. Misolas with a fake, leans in for the jumper, it's good.
Yes.
Well, the Realtors locals are beginning to hum here in this quarter. Locals have contributed 8 points so far as against 4 for Anthony Johnson. So tama yung balance na yun.
And play's been stopped a little bit here because
the Realtors focus for delaying the game. That's their second infraction of delaying the game.
so Paul Escobar. So another technical foul has just been slapped here on the Realtors for delaying the game. And James Yap easily getting his points here. He's already in double digits with 11.
Full court pressure by Santa Lucia.
There's James Yap flashing out, looking for his space. Finger roll, can't get it, but he will head to the line.
Second foul, number 3, over Omolon.
Looks like we got a timeout on our hands. The BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS still ahead by big, 41-26.
Any better than this?
Time to bring out those cell phones because this is your opportunity to win tickets to the next PBA game. It's through the Solar PBA Text for Tickets promo. Just text Solar space PBA space today's mystery keyword, which is glory. Send it to 2600 for a chance to win tickets to the next PBA game. Back at the Cuneta Astrodome, where the story has been all BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS have led all throughout. They've led by as many as 20 points. Now they're ahead by 15. There's a look at James Iap, who has been contributing from the free throw line. He's also been hitting some nice long jumpers, and now he is back at the line to help the cause of the LLAMADOS. While the Santa Lucia Realtors continue to struggle finding some offensive output from a player who's not named Anthony Johnson.
There's James Yap engaging Bitoyo Molon in a conversation. I don't know what about.
Yap good for his second in that free throw shot, brought to you by BMEG Derby Ace Premium Formula. Dito ka na sa Llamado. And the BMEG Derby Ace Llamados have really made a reputation for being a defensive stopping force, the premier defensive stopping force in the league. The number one in defense, limiting their opponents to an average of about 81, 82 points per game. And look at this, they almost forced another turnover. That's going to leave 2 seconds on the shot clock for Santa Lucia.
You know, Omalon playing the 3 position, he suffered because of the presence of Anthony Johnson. And that's the reason why he's been playing sparing minutes.
And we've got a 30-second timeout brought to you by Handy Fix. Ang first aid ng bahay mo, bonds all, seals all. So Coach Boyd Fernandez will try to come up with something for the Realtors to use the remaining 2 seconds on the shot clock, but he'll probably take this time to do maybe a little bit of motivation, because again, it looks like the Santa Lucia Realtors are stuck without Anthony Johnson.
You know, they should fire themselves up, realizing that it's just the first half. Well, with 2 seconds to go, big challenge here for them to be able to get a shot off, a decent shot off, because you know that the BMEG defense is going to be there.
It's going to be catch and shoot for Santa Lucia. Marlo Aquino steps back, jumper is short. And it's going to be a loose ball foul called against Rico Meyerhofer. That's going to be foul number 3.
Number 1, Rico Meyerhofer, penalty. That is the 3rd foul on Rico Meyerhofer.
And penalty situation is sending, will this send Santa Lucia back to the line? Looks like, yeah, looks like Al Jamal will take it.
You know, with 2 seconds to play, in that sequence, Santa Lucia managed to get the ball in the hands of their big man, which is fine. I think they were trying to work the ball in the hands of Al Jamal. But in a situation like that, a crowded situation, you want your big man to stand out. And you know, Marlo Aquino is a veteran. He's been involved in a lot of clutch situations. He got the shot off, and then Rico Meyerhofer fouling on the rebounding play.
Split charities for Al Jamal. It's a 16-point ball game. 2 minutes and 19 remaining in the second quarter. Aliado looking for Meyerhofer. Meyerhofer, the cut, and he finishes.
Nice assist pass. Pinpoint passing there by Don Aliado for Rico Meyerhofer. It's like the veteran and the kid,
yes,
playing beautiful music together.
Aquino, the hook shot, short, but he gets the offensive board, and he's just cleaning up down there.
There's an offensive foul by Marlo Aquino. He's saying that he got hacked first.
That's his 3rd foul.
You watch it right there.
It was off this offensive rebound.
Now there was that elbow. Now Marlo Aquino was saying that he was fouled by Aliado on his first attempt. A foul that wasn't called. Oh,
Aliado.
Could have been a traveling violation against Aliado.
Well, that's exactly what the Realtors were asking for.
Marlo still hot under the collar, still arguing with the referee about that foul that was missed.
Escobar off the screen, the kick out.
What about no unnecessary risk? If you take a look at the number of turnovers by both teams, Santa Lucia already with 18 turnovers, And the turnover points, what a big difference. 20 turnover points for BMEG and only 6 for Santa Lucia. And that's the story of the game so far. The defense of BMEG creating turnovers, and then their offense getting fueled by the defense.
Escobar looking for that three, finally connects.
That's a nice stroke by Escobar from the outside. Nice wrist movement.
Cliff Brown providing the screen here. Roger Yap, hands up. Meyerhofer waits. Oh, it's a denial.
Omalon getting it done.
Omalon taking credit for that block. Now let's see if they can convert. Inside, Omalon, one-hander. That's going to be an offensive foul. Coach Boyd Fernandez really doesn't have a lot to be happy about here in this ball game.
You know, you can count the number of offensive fouls that have been called in this game. And I would say that we're coming close to 10. And look at this.
Oh boy.
We now have a
yes,
total
you're
of
right.
10.
We do have 10 offensive fouls already called in the first half alone. 8-second differential here between game clock and shot clock. Hand up, Aliado trying to go up and under. No basket there. It's back to the Realtors. They have 8 seconds to work here. Escobar, down low, Marlo Aquino, denied by Meyerhofer. But will it be a foul? No, that's going to be a clean block. And so, our first half is over. And the BMEG Derby Ace LLAMADOS have dictated the pace of this entire ball game, erecting a 15-point lead, 45-30. And here's a look at that last block by Rico Meyerhofer. Just excellent timing for this young man. And we'll be heading to Patricia Hizon right now.
Just curious kung paano na ma-manage nitong si James Yap na maglaro with a left knee injury. Pero nakaka-20, almost 20 minutes ka na, 13 points, and 5 of 5 from the free throw line.
Sa akin lang, no, ang iniisip ko lang talaga ay makatulong sa team. So, yun yung ginagawa ko parate kahit may nararamdaman akong sakit ngayon. So, kailangan talaga kasi yung goal lang namin makaabot na kami sa 3, 4, 5 na spot. So, kailangan talaga namin every game kailangan namin panalo.
We expect na yung Santa Lucia babalik sa second half na mas matibay pa. Eh kayo din ba? Yun din ang gusto mo mangyari? Mas tumibay pa kayo?
Kung ano yung pinapakita namin itong first half, no, kailangan i-maintain lang namin yung depensa namin dahil talagang hindi sila masyadong naka-forma talaga sa pag-execution nila. So, yun pa rin ipapatuloy namin this coming second half.
Alright, see you then. We'll be back for more of your PBA action at halftime. Coming right up.
Doesn't get any better than this. What a blow!